more so comparing VQ of last season to Carnage of this season, thinking to myself, like, obviously, you know, no coaching changes are taking place and all that, but, you know, VQ was on a hot streak. They were looking so good. You said they had those weird couple of weeks, and I'm kind of applying that maybe to Carnage, because Carnage was on a hot streak, 3rd place, but it's like now Carnage is starting to look a bit sluggish. So that's kind of the comparison I was going to make. Overall, though, game finally underway. RushieZ all in the lobby. UYU starting out strong. Kitty's going to manage to pick off INZEM there. Ice now is going to be isolated in a 1v2 himself. He will not get anybody. He goes down. Now, picking up in the mid battle, it looks like Praized and Xplosive are going to be just okay. They're going to finish off Avexys, and FraNChiS goes down as well. That's 5 gone. INZEM will respawn back in. He's going to be looking at TJ. We're going to take him down. He gets that touch. He gets that touch, and it doesn't matter because RushieZ isn't going to respawn back in. So all that wait for this 42 seconds, round 1 going to UYU.
Well, that's one way to kick out the series, right? 42-second round in favor of UYU. You're going to see TJ, right, leading the way, 2 kills in round number 1. See what RushieZ puts on. You're going to, of course, probably see a good amount of investing into the back-end utility. Taylor, I hope we get to see the same level of weapon placements we saw the last Forge, because that made for one hell of a viewing experience, one hell of a casting experience. Hopefully we get that level of excitement again.
We might. We very well might. But this is the thing. RushieZ, when we were getting that excitement, they were over in the Vista spawn, actually. So now they're on the Foundry spawn, which is where PK was running through them. I don't know if that has any effects, but at least in that last map between PK and RushieZ, it absolutely did. Let's see how this fight goes. If it goes just as well for UYU as it did before, of course, we're going to be on the side of RushieZ this time, watching their perspective. It didn't go well the first time. Utility's out as Powerz looks to push back INZEM. He's going to go in and answer back with his own. In the middle, though, is going to be Icy. He's going to get taken down. Now INZEM and Powerz are in a 1v1. You do look at the mid-fight, though, and it absolutely went to the way of RushieZ, as well as down low. Player 7's going to get the overextension. INZEM wins up top, and Ryan, just like you said, it is going to be just like that. Even though it's a different spawn, RushieZ takes it in 35 seconds.
I think they heard us making fun of the time torching, and they said that they had to make up for it a little bit with some quick rounds to pick up the pace again, because we had 42 seconds and 35 seconds. Next thing you know, we're deadlocked here at 1-1. Rounds so short that you were able to just call the whole thing. Like that's just the beauty of it, right? And so yeah, good stuff coming through from RushieZ. I guess, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, it's really, let me even go ahead and break it down. It's like, yep, they 5 wiped him. The round's over.
That's
all
it.
right,
I mean,
next round.
Nothing really to break down. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'll witness it. It was 35 seconds. You blinked, you missed it. Okay, well, here we go. Round number 3. Maybe we'll have a quicker half than we did between PK and RushieZ. It's definitely on the way towards that. Focus in on TJ this time. I guess he's going to be down low, capping C. We'll now hop over to Powerz. He's going to be going up top. Utility is out. RushieZ not being as aggressive as they were before. Normally they would have already been taking the place where Powerz is at, but a nice little shot. Take down nice, and INZEM's going to answer it back. It seems like both of these teams are really neck and neck up top. Meanwhile, in the mid-battle fight, looks like Praized is going to go ahead and clean up RushieZ and Avexys. He took down Xplosive for good measure up top. INZEM will get it. It looks as if the overextension is there. RushieZ will still have that 2-1 lead. Maybe.
That's one of those scenarios, right, Taylor, where you see like the 3 different fights happening at once. Just like up top, you see the middle, you see the home hill, right? So it's like, yes, Praized wins the fight in the middle, but RushieZ wins the fight up top, RushieZ wins the fight at the home hill. It's like, okay, so now what do each team do, right? There's 3 different lanes to worry about, 3 different fights to worry about, and if you can win one and lose the other, well, you're screwed. You can win 2, lose 1, and win the round, right? There's all kinds of things that can happen.
Right, RushieZ starting to pick up some big kills now. Xplosive and Praized. TJ looking to even up the odds. Not going to happen. He's getting lanced out. Kitty, though, from the flanks, going to walk up to INZEM, get the chunk, but Powerz is the only one remaining. And surprisingly, RushieZ doesn't go in. Of course, they didn't have the manpower really to do so. I thought for sure RushieZ maybe going to go for the decap, but he would have been in the 1v2, so wise decision to back off. Powerz in a really not a good position. He's going to get lanced out and finished off. RushieZ applying very good pressure. They've got the point lead, and UYU is literally running into their Lancer bullets.
See, once again, Praized holding down the middle of the map. The hill currently does sit in favor of RushieZ, but UYU is trying to push them as far back as possible and get that. But Fran's on the backside on the flank. Going to stop UYU dead in their tracks. Fran gets 2. Can Fran make it a 3rd? No, TJ shuts him down, but that was the only piece of real estate really that UYU had at the moment. Obviously, they're going to retain it, but Fran, big play to kind of slow them down. In the meantime, though, UYU sitting on all 3 hills. Gonna get a touch. Praized does finally end up falling, so no trip cap for UYU just yet. Obviously, they're gonna be in a good position to come back when it comes to the time lead, right? You see RushieZ only have about 30 seconds. Now it becomes down to where RushieZ makes their next push.
Looks like C is going to be their answer. 2 are going to be heading in, but this is the thing. It's going to be a bit of a mismatch. Luckily, Fran is going to join in to even out the odds. And actually, player 9 is going to be coming in for good measure, but as 7 drops, that's Fran. He gets finished off. I can't believe Powerz isn't getting okay. Finally goes down. Like, when's the final shot going to connect? It finally does. I see, though. Get it down onto 1, but now UYU is really starting to heat this up. This is looking pretty bad for RushieZ, potentially. UYU is now really starting to heat up the Nasher play. Almost going to be locked in for UYU. Player 7's going to get the break on B, but 1's looking to meet him.
Yeah, very unlikely that RushieZ spawns back in here. Fran does win the fight in the middle, but still just not a ton else you can do. You can see the resources already looking pretty low. We still have 1 more round to play in this half, so RushieZ gonna try and save those resources and try to tie this one back up here in the first half on Forge. You see 9 kills coming out of Praized, by the way. He's been just an absolute tear in the middle.
Okay, 2-1. UYU leads the way up top already. I like this. So UYU knows the fight up top's been going fairly well for them, right? So they're not scared to place the drop shot. And RushieZ will take this opportunity to start working their way up to the INZEM as well as the Marksa. But not a bad placement. You know, this is a high pressure placement, I would have to say. UYU might be in the driver's seat after this.
Yeah, it's very possible. You're gonna see that drop shot up top now. It's gonna make the party very interesting. You're gonna see 4 members from each team heading up to that fight. We saw some great matchups up top between RushieZ and Pittsburgh Knights in this very fight. We'll see what we get here. Utility comes out early. 2 downs coming through for Kenny. The revives are underway, but you just see UYU swarming around these players. Left and right they fall. It's going to put a drop shot right in the hands of UYU. Avexys is the last remaining member. Trying to make a splash on the way out. Powerz going to hit him with a good old back A. I don't think Fran can get there in time. That's going to be a nice quick trip cap coming through from UYU. A dominant fight up top, man. They really just cleaned it right up.
Yeah, really clean indeed. 3-1 going into the second half now. That drop shot fight's not going to change. And again, UYU places it there. They felt confident in their ability to fight up top. Look at Praized and Powerz, 10 and 10 respectively. Praized with 2 assists, of course, 5 for Powerz, putting in that extra chip damage. And UYU, they might be behind. They're going to miss out on the INZEM, but they're gonna be okay with that, given the fact that, look, there's most likely still going to win that drop shot. But that INZEM could be beneficial. It's a close quarter fight up there, Ryan. And one well-connected INZEM can absolutely shift the pace of who's taking control up top.
Light them up!
No, it certainly can. And you see the INZEMs move their way up top. It's going to be player number 9 in Avexys. So keep an eye on maybe RushieZ playing a little slower, waiting for those INZEMs to do the work. But Powerz isn't going to let them. He's going to run right through. He's going to get the first blood. He's going to push right onto Icy as well. He's going to make it a third. He does end up falling to the hands of Rush. But man, Powerz just got right in there. In the blink of an eye, Taylor already getting first blood.
Already first blood. Kenny getting the drop. Of course, he's going to be the man to take it. RushieZ, though, does... Maybe they were... I think the button was pressed, yeah, so he's forced to back up. He'll go in as soon as he can. That's FraNChiS, of course. Up top again, round 2. RushieZ trying to go in for it. Praized cleans him up. Kenny still gets away, and I believe has 2 drill bits to his name. Praized going to force the issue onto INZEM, pushing in. Getting peppered, no worries. INZEM doesn't even turn around. He knew there was a player in front of him. That is where RushieZ should have called him out. I think before long, UYU is going to be on B. Let's find out.
UYU continuing. Just move closer and closer. That drop shot's going to put Avexys in a tough spot. You see RushieZ trying to get some kills, try to just at least slow them down, but UYU continues to move further and further. Praized has that good old spawn shield, that pistol, drop shot, everything in sight. That is going to be a trip cap. That's going to be 5 down. Taylor, UYU is cruising through Forge.
Absolutely. 4-1. Come on, you couldn't ask for anything better if you're a UYU fan. Do want to remind people, though, it's a different map, but yesterday when UYU played, or no, it wasn't yesterday. When was it? It was versus Rebel, and it was on training grounds. UYU was up 4-1. And Rebel took the victory in that best-of-3 series. So UYU is kind of on a losing streak here, but at least tonight for E-Days, kind of been on a winning streak. as they've been able to successfully secure the victory 3 weeks in a row. So this is maybe a fourth week in a row. We do love our E-Days championships, Ryan, so they're going to stack them up, stack those trophies to be the most winning team, at least for this split, for split number 1 of E-Days. The Torquebo down mid, and I'm going to say UYU's been winning that fight mid too. Again, they cannot do anything wrong. See how this round goes.
That's good. You're seeing RushieZ nice and aggressive up top. So UYU got aggressive last time. This time, RushieZ is going to take the fight to them. It's going to go much better up top. In the meantime, Xplosive in the mid-map. He falls as well. TJ, the last member alive. That's going to be a quick 5 down. That's going to be a very, very quick round again, Tilly. These have been so many 5-wipe rounds. And I'm noticing a trend. I mean, the teams who are getting a little more aggressive up there seem to be the ones that are coming away for the last couple rounds. 29
Absolutely.
seconds, man.
Yeah, that's the quickest round we've seen yet tonight. I think RushieZ actually earlier got a 30-second round, if I'm not mistaken. It was either RushieZ or PK, but 29 seconds for sure takes the cake. Good on them for getting that. And the instance now will be halved on both ends, I would have to think. So it's going to be useful unless UYU goes for a disable. Wouldn't be a bad thing to do. Maybe disable the Torquebo. I don't know. They're definitely, the cogs are turning, but there's a disable on the ensign. Feel like it's been a little bit too impactful, if you will, or maybe not even impactful, but just throw it out there so they don't have it. Praized still tearing it up though, 15-3. Powerz just below them at 14-8. So let's see how this goes. I mean, RushieZ 29-second round last round. Let's see if they can do it again.
No, most definitely. I mean, they said RushieZ is to be flawless from here on out. They're going to get away with this map number 1. UYU just need to squeeze one more out. You're going to see them now get nice and aggressive. That inside's going to cause all kinds of problems. That kill feed is entirely blue. Avexys will get the Torquebo. Just going to go ahead and pocket it. The question becomes now, where is Fran? Can he buy enough time? It's like he's spotted where the UYU players are, but have they spotted him? He's going to seemingly check the corner. Fran will be spotted. That's going to be the first kill, but he is going to be traded out. UYU now find themselves on all 3 hills, but it should have been enough time for them to get off the spawn and at least reclaim their home hill. So all hope is not lost just yet, but another dominant initial coming through from UYU. I guess the one silver lining for both teams really is that in these fast rounds, you preserve a lot of respawns, right, when there's a lot of 5 wipes. So both teams have quite a bit of respawns to work with.
Indeed. RushieZ still, they've got to try to get some type of control. You see UYU, the pressure is real. You do have that 1v1 though. 9 needs to... He didn't get a touch. Was the button press? Is that what was going on? 9 was over there on E, even though he was in that 1v1. I am shocked he didn't get the touch, but 5-2, UYU, not slowing down. And they said, hey, last night was a different night. Tonight is tonight. We're going to take over this victory. They head into Vascar next. Good work from them, man. They played that very well, Ryan.
That was a really, really quick forge. You saw, I think it was Powerz and Praized, 16 kills each through just what it was, 7 rounds. Great stuff coming out from them. You saw Powerz being a beast up top. You saw Praized being a beast down low. And yeah, like I said, they're off now to a very, very hot start, right? 1-0 on RushieZ's map pick as well, right? And so now they have to head into their map pick. A good size lead, a little bit of a, even at the end of the day, a cushion, right? In case their own map pick doesn't go right.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing, right? I mean, if your map pick doesn't go well, which of course is going to be coming up, and that is going to be Vascar. Looking at, if it doesn't go well, that's fine. You still got Forge coming up. So, or I'm actually looking at the wrong thing, but that's okay. Check it out, man. It's going to be a good time. I cannot wait to get this going. Vascar is going to be up next, and it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Again, I don't know who I favor in this. RushieZ played very well versus PK, without question. But at the end of the day, PK did get that victory, albeit it came down to round 9, but it was also on the back of RushieZ losing 3 rounds in a row. So RushieZ is doing something well, but they just need to master all areas of it to be able to lock it in. And I don't really know what it was per se, because the M-bar was out and they were connecting. What was the biggest reason, if you can kind of reflect on that last map that RushieZ played on Vasca versus PK? Why was PK able to get that victory 3 rounds in a row?
Yeah, I mean, it's because one of the scenarios where PK did a good job of getting out ahead, getting the numbers, and just not really letting RushieZ get back to full strength, right? They kept continuing to find a member to pick off. They kept continuing to just kind of move as quickly as they could around the map, because there isn't really a huge opportunity to set up. They just continue to kind of search and destroy, right? Find a player, kill him, keep numbers, move until there's nowhere else to go, right? For RushieZ. So again, a different opponent for sure, right? They play Vascar a little differently, I would say, but nonetheless, that same sort of way to play the map still still matters, right? It's all about those quick calls, those quick rotations, right? Realizing if a fight's lost, hightailing it to the next one, trying to beat them to a spot, trying to beat them to the 2-cap, right? Whatever it may be. Of course, we saw a drop shot place when it was PK versus RushieZ. So when it's the drop shot gets placed, you kind of have to focus the fight a little more. But nonetheless, the map still plays the way it plays.
I like it. I think UYU, look, this used to be their playing ground, you know, going back, obviously Exhibit was one of their favorite maps, one of their most dominant maps. Vascar was very closely second. And, you know, there was a time where they ended up losing it. And look, when Time Torch is back up, right, I'm just going to give you a chance to talk about this, man, because it looks as if actually they're getting squared away pretty quickly, a lot quicker than before. Yeah,
I mean, we're making progress. I'm only seeing a few open slots. So, yeah, so far so good in the Time Torch camp. I'll keep my eye on that one, though.
All right, well, it looks like INZEM still down there. He's going to be in a 1v4 versus Kenny Powerz, Praized, and Xplosive. Needs to go ahead and join in on the opposite end. We're just waiting for INZEM, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the screen. Unless he wants to play with UYU, I don't know. Look, they can make up some changes here. Maybe they just said, hey, this is going to be an exhibition match coming up. Okay, INZEM, you play with UYU. I don't know. Who would you take from UYU if you were RushieZ?
Probably in this case, probably Powerz.
Probably Powerz.
Well, I mean, if you lose INZEM, you got to fill that slaying power. That'd probably be the trade. They're both fast slayers.
Okay, well, we just need Powerz to move over then, I guess. I don't know what the game plan is, but we're waiting on INZEM, and that's okay. He's got noob next to his name. Take that for what you will. Torching the time, but it's okay. It looks okay. I thought they were syncing up. It was going to be good to go. It's going to be a fun one. Chat, let us know. Jacob, I know you're out there, and your predictions are stronger than mine. So who's taking map number 2? On Vascar.
Last I saw it, I think you guys were all getting smoked by the community. I think it was Blaze, and then community's pulling up on everyone. You can't. Twitch chat's going to get that much more bold if they feel like they got the upper hand on you guys.
And that's fine. I made some bold predictions. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I may have bought into the memes that were being thrown my way by certain organizations. Okay, so I then went with them, and as soon as I went with them after they memed me, well, they memed me back in an indirect way because their team would end up losing. I went with the most secure chance to take a map yesterday, I thought, which was Carnage versus Noble, because Carnage had been unstoppable and the Noble destroys Carnage. And I'm like, okay, well, here we go. Granted, though, I did go with RushieZ versus UYU, and they pulled up big and they ended up taking the victory, right? All I needed was Carnage to win versus Noble, and I think I would have beat Jacob, if I'm not mistaken. I think I would have beat him by 1, or at least tied him. I think I would have beat him, but I didn't. And that hurts. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. There's always next split, right? You'll get another opportunity. There's always more Gears action to come. Doesn't look like all the players are going to be in the lobby, so hopefully that's going to start up soon. Of course, we are here on map number 2. If you're just tuning in, you can see my new favorite. I guess I don't know what side of the screen it's on for you guys. I guess that way. The new time torching cam. So a lot of times people always ask, why isn't the game starting? Why isn't the game starting? Well, now we're going to show you exactly why the game isn't starting, because I'm tired of getting asked. And so we got the time torch cam. I'm going to have them put a little overlay in there with some flames and all kinds of cool stuff for the next time. It's going to be fun. But we are going to be on map number 2. This is the grand finals here of Emergence Days. This is the last Emergence Days prior to the major. So there's a lot on the line for these teams. Again, the last Emergence Days is always really fun to watch because it gives us kind of one good last look into how these teams are shaping up heading into that major. Of course, we're just now a little less than 1 week away. Huge prize pool on the line, so it's going to be one hell of a weekend. But now, like I said, we're in the middle of this good series. You got 2 of the best IGLs, probably the 2 best IGLs to ever do it. A good old classic match with RushieZ and UYU. So if you just got here, make sure you stick around.
Saw Forge last night between these two, but one of the maps we didn't get to see was Vascar between RushieZ and UYU. It's not going to be the first time we've watched them play on this very map, but it will be the first time in a little bit that we have seen it. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get some extra stats, if you will, Ryan, see how it's going to unfold. But hey, check it out. It is going to be underway. I like it. Jacob said his predictions doesn't matter. I disagree, but hey, he didn't throw one out there. So I don't know where he sits. RushieZ and UYU do everything to prove me wrong either way. Fair enough. I've been there. I've been there. Are we restarting? Put up that time torch. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I see it in chat all the time. Why is the podcast still going? Why are you guys still talking? Why aren't you guys starting the match? You're seeing why. Like Ryan said, and I like that we're giving them the reason why, okay? Here's what it is. What are you going to do? At least we're here. We're watching Gears, and that's a great thing, man. It's a great thing. It really is.
That certainly is, man. We always talk about doing a podcast, so, once in a while we get an opportunity to get a little pilot episode of the Gears podcast that we never have time to do. So it's all just good practice, right? Just a couple of bros broing.
Man, bro, and I like that, Avon. That's Cali talk coming out for sure. Yeah, you know, the podcast was a thing that we absolutely thought about. I'm not going to lie. I think I do hear the tick going, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they are getting back into the game. Hey, I like that too, right? We get a little audible as to when we're getting in. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to do it. I really can't wait to do it. Hopefully it starts up very shortly. But the reality is, look, UYU is about to, or at least in a very good position to get a 2-0. RushieZ needs to answer back if we want to see a bunker, which, again, would be a lot of fun given the fact that we witnessed that just a night ago, where bunker was won, I think, 5-3 or 5-2 over that of UYU. So I think RushieZ still is going to be okay in the series. But Vascar, it's going to be a tough one for them to win.
No, certainly will be, man. But at the end of the day, like we talk about, right, when it comes to this matchup, you've seen, even with like the RushieZ PK matchups, the past UYU PK matchups, there are these certain matchups, right, where you just know that when the two teams going against each other, it's going to very likely be close. And you can sometimes put aside some of the maybe historical sort of, results against other teams, right? Because you just know that these two teams are at such a high level that they're going to be able to adapt to each other, and especially on a map like this. So this is going to be a fun one for sure.
Absolutely going to be a blast. Let's find out how it unfolds. And obviously, big fight onto tank. You see those 3v3 setting up, ready to attack. Which one is going to go in first? Meanwhile, you might have a 2v2, whether it be onto C or A. So keep your eyes out for Kenny and Powerz. And of course, on the other side, RushieZ and Avexys. Meanwhile, player 5 is going to back up. Curious as to why he's doing that. Maybe thinking someone's going to go mid, maybe wanting to join RushieZ and Avexys, which I think he's going to do. So now it's going to be a little bit of a 3v3 onto C and a 2v2 onto B. And RushieZ is looking to make this their fight. He's got to break the setup of UYU.
There's that first down coming through from Kenny. You see the revives come through. Avexys does move forward, but you can see UYU is sitting there and they were ready. That's going to be 3 members down for RushieZ, Fran, and INZEM. The last 2 remaining members, you're going to see the members of UYU heading right over towards that A hill. Meantime, Kenny does move over to B. Fran trying to just kind of hold off the push by himself. We are still on long spawn rounds, but he's going to be surrounded. UYU's going to find themselves now on all 3 hills as both him and INZEM do drop. There's going to be 3 RushieZ members off the spawn. Can they get to the hill in time? IC is going to get in there. They are going to get the breaks. They do live to fight another day, but they got to get these kills.
Definitely do, and UYU's going to be happy with this lead that they have. Now, Vascar, we know, unique map. It's going to be constant rotations from the flank as Praized. I did not see that coming. Dances tried to take out Fran, not going to happen. And RushieZ's going to use now their advantage to maybe push on to B. They know they've counted the numbers, and UYU is clearly going to be all over on C. So at this point in time, RushieZ is going to take a 2-to-1 hill advantage, which they desperately need. They're down about 70 or so points. So UYU, they may have a nice lead. RushieZ has to close out this deficit. They're going to rotate their troops now over towards A. It's going to be it looks like a 4v2. And player 7, that's going to be Kenny. He's going to be on the flank looking to take down Icy. And he has been spotted at this point. Avexys is going to be pinned up. He's going to get dropped. From the mid, it's going to be Praized as well. He's going to be challenged by Fran. Fran is going to drop. It looks everywhere. At least I can tell UYU is doing it well, but you have that straggler. That's INZEM. Even though RushieZ only has 2 members on the map, make that 1, they're still going to have the 2-to-1 hill advantage and get those much-needed points. Well, I guess they wouldn't now, is you're going to see INZEM who's going to be flanked. I thought for sure he's going to get the full count.
So you're going to see the members of RushieZ choosing not to spawn back in. So UYU, much longer round than we probably saw in Forge, right? We're not used to seeing rounds go into the multi-minutes after that first map, but they do end up getting the job done. You see Kenny 1 kill, 7 assists, right? Xplosive 4 kills, 6 assists. Great teamwork coming out of UYU that round.
Good stuff from them, taking that early lead. They played that very well. Really good. Unique opportunities that they kind of put in their own hands, right? Sending player number 7 to go on that flank. That was truly impactful. Isolating Avexys as they did, right? RushieZ did not see that coming in. Even if they did, they didn't have anything to do about it. How could you? But I will say RushieZ for, a good portion of that mid-game was, or at least mid-round, round 1, playing very well objectively. But it was just that whole package from UYU. They ended up doing them in the end. I want to see if RushieZ pulls another audible, right? They ended up sending the player off their tank to go and assist on that push for C. Obviously, it's going to be a different scenario as RushieZ has C by default, but UYU's not wasting any time. They don't want to focus on tank. They're going in for the default. They want C.
You see UYU just kind of continue to push them out. Icy gets the revive, but you can see they're just kind of constantly getting tagged up left and right. Great Lancer Fire coming out from UYU. Ends up on the backside looking to get this kill onto Powerz. It's a good start. Xplosive getting a caught between the team fire as well. Good job by RushieZ playing their spacing right now. Kenny is going to come try to aid Xplosive. INZEM times the shot well, connects with the kill. It's going to give RushieZ now a 2-cap. Now they're starting to move. They're starting to take control of these numbers. Praized and TJ, the last remaining members. You're going to see TJ starting to dance around these boxes, trying to do his best to stay alive. He's managed to get out, but not for long. Avexys finally does secure the down. Now you see where RushieZ is going to make their move next. They have A and C. I think they're trying to pin the members of UYU down to B. You can see there's at least a few members sitting near that tank. I think RushieZ trying to survey exactly where their push is going to be next. Right? They have a lot of good eyes. They have a lot of good information. They just got to be able to react once UYU makes their decision.
Mind if I do?
The decision they would have to make is Kenny, I thought, wasn't going to respawn back in, but he's going to give it a good go. But immediately TJ's going to be dropped. But hey, answered back by Kenny as he now looks to focus in onto INZEM. He's going to get that kill as well, so good on him. Don't worry about the finish. Don't let him bleed out. RushieZ now is going to try his hand onto Praized, but the Lancer Fire is there. But despite it, RushieZ still capitalizes and gets the kill. But the reality is UYU now is going to be on 2 hills. Now you have Xplosive in a 1v1 versus FraNChiS. Looks like FraNChiS is going to get that kill. Meanwhile, though, RushieZ continues to push back UYU as far away as possible from B. RushieZ is playing this very well. They've netted themselves a 30-point lead. And I'm curious what UYU's next game plan is going to be. Clearly, it's on to B. But again, Vascar's like a fishbowl, right? We always call it that, Ryan. It's just RushieZ going to come, just going to rotate straight over to A as soon as they lose B. So UYU has to find a way to kind of battle against that.
Okay.
I mean, that was typical kind of, Vascar for a while, right? You're seeing the hills just sort of being traded back and forth. Players just moving circular. I think RushieZ is continuing to hold down these numbers strong. Avexys gets the kill, gets the rollback. Powerz is going to drop as well. UYU looking to not spawn back in. RushieZ ties this one up. A very, very well played round. Another very, very long round as well, right? Another 2.5+ minute round. Much different than we saw in map number 1.
Yeah.
And it's kind of because Vascar, like I said, it's very rare that because of the way you're just constantly on the move, right? A lot of times it's hard to get those 5 wipes in the same way.
It's a momentum-based map. It really is. If you can start off strong, get the 2-to-1 hill advantage, and stop that initial push, right? Get your whether it be 2 or 3 frags at the beginning. Whenever you go head-to-head with the opposite team, you're going to put yourself in a very good position to always stay ahead of the game, right? Stay ahead of the enemy team as they rotate objectives. So the initial is a really important and critical part, I think, on all maps, but on Vascar especially, because you can net yourself a decent-sized lead and put yourself in a comfortable position. Even if you do lose the 2-to-1 hill advantage, you can still have that point lead to kind of, bank on, if you will, stay back and just relax a second and formulate a plan for the push forward. Off the start, though, RushieZ is looking to make good off of this initial. B is going to for sure go into the way of them, and they're going to go ahead and spread their forces out to maybe close down and pinch off UYU, or at least get the information to see where UYU's numbers are going.
Here you see both teams kind of in that info gathering phase, right? Trying to determine where the next rotation is going to be made. Of course, RushieZ, they do have the 2 hills for now, but they both obviously know that UYU is not going to sit still for long. It's going to be a decision made on which hill they're going to pursue next. I think you're seeing Avexys starting to realize that the UYU members are starting to make their move. And Incendiary Grenade's going to stop them right in their tracks, at least for now. You can see them starting to stack those resources closer and closer right now. 4 members making their way towards the A hill. RushieZ, choice to make, right? Do they double back over to A, or do they look to pinch in the backside? Based on the minimap, it looks like you're going to see INZEM and FraNChiS start to pinch in the backside over towards C, make a rotation of their own. Downs are starting to come through. Avexys, Icy, they're kind of forced back now. Their teammates are falling left and right. UYU starting to take control. That's going to be 3 members down. Icy forced back as well. The question is, can he get out alive, right? UYU's just completely swarming him. Manages to take his health back, manages to make a move, and now RushieZ, they're off to B.
Fran will drop. That was Kenny taking him down. So yeah, like you said, RushieZ is off to B, but they are going to lose the 2-to-1 hill advantage. Granted, again, because of that strong initial, because of the team wipe, or not the team wipe, but at least a 3 or 4 member wipe at the start, they have a lead that they can, you know, piggyback off of, if you will. So they have time. UYU is starting to close that deficit out, and they are making it happen. Now, INZEM is going to get the finish on the one, but gets dropped himself. You see that Lancer fire so hard to push through. RushieZ has to find a different angle attack, and they will. They're going to be on A, and that leaves Praized now in a 1v2. A big 1v2. He's going to drop. Now, that isolates player number 8, which is Powerz. Powerz was looking to go up baby steps and go for the attack, but now he doesn't have the opportunity to do so until his teammates get there. So he's got to plan this out. He's going to backtrack to C. RushieZ knows UYU is going to be pressuring up to B in a 3v3, and now they're going to send the 2 players over towards C. RushieZ is 1 step ahead of UYU every step of the way, and getting those kills by B, by the way, didn't hurt at all.
Absolutely, and now you're going to see RushieZ with the 2 hills past the 215-point mark. Praized in a tough spot, and it's like this will be a RushieZ round. They did a fantastic job of reading and reacting. UYU, to their credit, had a good retake, right? Over towards the A hill, but then you saw the players in RushieZ sneak out, make their way over to B, and that's how kind of Vascar works, right? In the end, it's really about when you have those 2 caps, who can kind of hold them for longer, because the chances are you're going to sort of exchange 2 caps back and forth at some point. So it's really about kind of maximizing the time lead as much as you can while you have that 2 cap. That's exactly what RushieZ did there. Look at some of these stats, right? You see IC 1 kill, 11 assists, right? And so a lot of good teamwork coming through.
Yeah, I see putting that work for the team, right? Not trying to... We know he could slay out, but I think he knows the assists at this point are just hugely important. UYU's got to find a way to shut down RushieZ off of that initial. Without question, that's what's hurting them. By the time they get the ball rolling, they are already at a 70, maybe 80-point deficit in points. You're not going to win around that way unless you do something drastically different towards late game. So let's see if UYU can clean it up here. They're going to go back to the standard tank fight. So we'll see that 3v3 taking place. They'll have 2 on 8, locking that in. Brand's going to go ahead and pick up the incense to join down on tank. You already know those 2 members from UYU who are on tank need to be careful, but as RushieZ gets dropped by the Lancer, UYU fills the opportunity to go for the attack. TJ's going to lead the charge. The incense out. Praized will take him down. Fran, though, will connect on the TJ. He's now at the forefront. Praized is separated from his teammates, but you also have Xplosive over there in the distance.
Xplosive now kind of stuck between good amount of team fire. He does have some help. Now you can see UYU put some team fire out of their own. RushieZ going to fall in the meantime. Praized is going to drop over at the tank. Now see if RushieZ has enough control to take that B hill. Looks like they have Xplosive. Will make his move over to the other side of the map. Now UYU is making their push over towards C. Slowly pushing back the members of RushieZ. You're going to see TJ hop on the hill, start to get the break, but RushieZ is across from the other direction. It's going to make it hard for TJ. INZEM has a very good angle to help his teammates on the other end. Now it's just about them finishing these kills off, but it looks like TJ manages to stay alive, and UYU is trying to chain these kills together.
That's exactly what they need to do. ANC locked in. AD is going to be played around with, though, but might be short-lived. I'm curious, though, that flank from INZEM was there, but UYU spots it. RushieZ and IC last alive. UYU wanting to lock this round in. They don't want to extend it any more than they need to. They know the respawns are short. They know sending it to the second half evened up is going to give them a much better chance to take this over. But maybe they don't have a chance. RushieZ goes through, picks up critical kills. That's 3 down. And that's going to give them the chance to not only take over their theoretical home hill, but also send player 1 over to A to get the decap.
Seems to use that smoke to just kind of block some sight and try to get out of dodge as fast as he can. Avexys, I think he was there and waiting, but I think he had the flashbang on instead of his shotgun. It looked like he tried to set up a shotgun shot, but had the wrong weapon. Now you take a look at respawn economy on both ends, right? RushieZ going to spawn him with his last life. From the side of UYU, everyone looks pretty healthy outside of Praized, so that advantage definitely in favor of UYU as they look to tie this first half up.
Oh,
yeah, those kills are just going to get just one after another. We're past the 210 mark. That's going to basically do it. Once again, man, another tied up first half.
Definitely is, but it wasn't. Look, it's just playing around at this point. Look, I think Praized pull out. Are we having a chain fight? Yes, we are. Who's going to take over the victory? INZEM gets it, but you know what? Xplosive says, all right, brother, we get it. Gets the chunk in the end. We know it's all for just fun. 2-2, I like it. I love when the pros can just have a moment like that, man. We'll get a replay of that. Break it down for me, Ryan.
mean, it's a good old chainsaw battle. You know, you're going to see both players just absolutely smashing their controllers, trying to hit that button faster and faster. In the end, though, it does look like INZEM potentially purchased a turbo controller. I'm not going to make any accusations, but that's just one possibility when you win these chainsaw fights. Fun fact, actually, there was at old MLG event. I think it was a Gears of War 2. There was a consolation match played by I'm not sure if you guys actually, Taylor, you know Sundown he does Fortnite now. Of course. So Sundown, obviously, is a former Gears of War pro. He was in a consolation match. So back in MLGs, we had consolation matches. And Sundown's team and their opponent decided that for their consolation match, because they didn't care what place they ended up with, that they would have chainsaw battles to determine who, in fact, won the consolation match instead of actually playing it. That actually happened on land in real life.
Wow. That was a much different time, I assume. Hey, but still a fun time, though. See, it's moments like that just linger in your mind. Just like this initial is going to linger in RushieZ's mind. Okay, RushieZ and Avexys last up. UYU off to a great start. And again, those initials matter. It gives you a good size lead, or at least it can add up to a good size lead. It doesn't guarantee it, but now it's up to RushieZ to figure something out. Get the troops together. It looks like D is going to be their next stop. And it looks like RushieZ and Avexys are going to be pushing in, maybe trying to lock it in, but they're going into a 3v2. Maybe even a 3v3 player 2 join, but if he doesn't, it's going to be tough. I think UYU is going to net a decent amount of points here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we talked about those situations, right, where you can milk that 2-cap on this map as long as you can. That's going to a lot of times be the difference maker when it comes to those long-winded rounds, right, where it ends up coming down to time. You're going to see UYU very ready for this push. You're going to see the downs come through RushieZ. Of course, we'll get those revives. It's just going to make that push harder and harder when you're constantly being stopped dead in your tracks. It makes it harder for that retake, and UYU's doing a great job of just literally stopping this push dead in its tracks. That's 4 members down. I see the last remaining member for RushieZ. He's going to be at that E hill, but you're going to see members of UYU moving over there quickly. He's got to make a big play. In the meantime, though, even with that 4 wipe, right, just look at the lead that UYU's building.
And that's the thing, right? That's what makes it so substantial. Like this. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Powerz comes back, doubles in, just stares at his body rolling. I think he's just zoned out at that point. Believe it or not, RushieZ will stay alive a little bit longer. Not much longer, just a hair. UYU will take it 3-2. And those points are adding up. We got a replay. Yeah, I don't know. What is this? What, Ryan, what happened here?
Still mind games, right? I mean, the dying to it then isn't obviously the best scenario.
As he zones out, though, it just watches the body, the torso, just roll down.
A player like Powerz, right? He's constantly moving and grooving, right? So when you see him stop dead in your tracks, you're not used to it, right? Play some mind games with you, and then he just chunks you. Just Powerz things.
I feel like this match is very serious, you know, but I also feel like it has this moment for memes, and I like that. I really do, right? It's a nice, fun match before we get into the major, where things get super serious. Emotions will be running high. Ice has got that M-bar, Ryan. That makes me happy.
It certainly does, man. One of the best M-bar players we've ever seen with the weapon. That can kind of turn it around. Still a very close map, right? RushieZ looking to force this to a map number 3. Meanwhile, UYU looking to finish with yet another first place here on Emergence days. Much slower start. You're going to see players kind of surveying the field. RushieZ, in the meantime, do have that 2-cap. So they will start to build a small lead. We're going to see exactly where UYU chooses to make that push. Of course, you got to keep your eye on Icy, right? You got to look at that mini-map, take an eye on what number 5 is doing right now. He's got the power weapon. As you know, with that M-bar, Taylor, you take just even a little bit of damage, that M-bar hits you, you are absolutely exploding.
Absolutely exploding indeed. That M-bar, so deadly, but hey, Icy still has it.
Enemy spotted!
3 shots. He hasn't used it yet. I'm actually surprised. There's that first one. Oh, this is Xplosive. Goes up for the set. Hits him. It's the body shot, but not gonna get the full kill. Only 1 more remains. I need a headshot. I desperately do. Inson's gonna be picked up by Xplosive. UYU still starting to chip away, or still slowly chipping away at that deficit. The battle for tank is underway. I think RushieZ should have the advantage here, but Xplosive picks up Avexys, and now he's going to be on the flank.
That's going to force Icy back. His teammates are over towards the tank, but Icy's going to turn around, hit the nice M-bar shot. That's going to give RushieZ the opportunity to take numbers into their own hands. That's going to be 4 members down. Powerz, the last remaining member. That's going to put RushieZ on the F hill. RushieZ will still maintain that lead. To extend it just a little bit further, of course, you're going to see players moving towards the E hill as well. So the members of UYU off spawn are going to make their way towards F. Now RushieZ is going to change their 2-cap over that D and E setup. Now UYU is going to begin to push forward, begin to pursue them over towards the D hill as well. In the meantime, though, RushieZ will continue to extend that lead further and further as we get closer and closer to that 200-point mark.
UYU is either going to get an explosive win here or they're going to give it up. But that right there is a good series of kills. At least one kill as Praized goes down. Avexys hits the second. Can he get a third? He's on a terror, it seems, and he will. My goodness, Avexys from that one little piece of cover, able to clutch up, get 3 members, making UYU's job that much more difficult, and you can already see it. Some of the members sitting at 0%, they are not responding back in. And for good measure, Fran puts on a show. Kenny is the last one to stand. I say that Powerz is still in, but we already know how this is ending. RushieZ going to take this round tied up 3-3.
And you can see both teams have very healthy respawn economy too, so plenty of gears left to be played here as we sit at 3-3. And very, very long rounds, right? If you were tuning into map number 1, there was just quick round after quick round, some as quick as 20-something seconds, right? And now you're seeing a lot of multi-minute rounds. Look at the teamwork over. Look at Xplosive, man. 22 assists. I think I saw if we can pull the scoreboard back up real quick. Yeah, 11 kills, 22 assists over for Xplosive. You see on the side of RushieZ, Icy, 16 assists to his name. And like I said, just a lot of teamwork, a lot of rotations. So it makes this map so interesting.
It's and two, one thing to also watch is the amount of depths difference between the two teams, right? Clearly UYU leads in that regard, but you wouldn't be able to tell in terms of the scoreline being at 3-3. But those assists absolutely matter, and we see more assists again because of the new, the new tuning. It's made a tremendous difference. M-bars on both ends. And of course, you have to. Well, UYU actually has it already halved, so it's going to be hugely beneficial. Let's see how this works out, man. M-bars galore. You love to see it.
You certainly do, man. I love some good power up and play, right?
Mm-hmm.
See M-bar in the hands of Icy, M-bar in the hands of Powerz. See both players trying to figure out exactly where they can put it to use first. Powerz has spotted one player. He's going to move back. Once again, RushieZ does start the party off with that good old 2-cap. So they'll start to build that first lead and again, do the same old deal, figure out sort of where UYU's push is going to be next. Oh yeah, as he's charging up that M-bar. He's waiting for one player just to get out of position. You can see UYU almost trying to maybe bait the shot. Got 3 bullets to work with on the other side. You're going to see Powerz charging it up as well. It's just a good old standoff, right? F-hill was decapped.
Icy's connecting. I can feel it. I can feel him connecting, man.
He's waiting. In the meanwhile, another fight going down to the D hill as well. You're seeing Powerz moving alongside Kenny, the good old duo that didn't lose an event last series. He's gonna get tagged up by that M-bar. On the flip side, though, Avexys will get the down. Icy actually kills the second player as well. Taylor, look at the impact that M-bar has, right? You see him basically take the first player all the way to full red. He actually finishes the second player as well. Talking about Icy connecting. We didn't get to see it in our screen, but he connected with 2 very impactful shots.
Absolutely. Well, answered back, though, as Icy will fall. Kenny, though, is going to go ahead and pick up that M-bar for himself. Praized going to pick up INZEM. And RushieZ was threatening at one point a triple cap. They're not going to get it just yet, but it doesn't mean that they're out of control. RushieZ now is going to be in a 1v2. Answers out, pepper them up, but shot. That M-bar once again connecting. The second one comes in. Icy's also going to be weak, too. That opens up the door to get those finishes on those players. INZEM up there. He's going to fall as well. UYU chaining together 3 eliminations. And now Avexys is going to be isolated by himself. Skinny's going to go ahead and back off. UYU is going to start closing out this deficit, but the reality is I don't think they have the win condition from that. They do, but they don't have it by much. So this is the thing. If RushieZ can get a decap here, that's going to be hugely beneficial in their favor, but listen, they're pretty far away from doing so. They've got to open the door here. E might be their best option.
And into those scenarios where Avexys had to kind of buy the time, right? Because RushieZ has such a big lead to work with. And like you said, UYU does have the win condition essentially by a couple seconds. So one good-sized break would do it. Of course, it's Vascars, but at the same time that RushieZ goes for their break, right? UYU can at the same time go for a break of their own. Fran's gonna hop on the hill. He's gonna miss the shot in the misroll. He's gonna make the second one count. He's gonna put Powerz in a tough spot. Fran, back-to-back kills. That's gonna give RushieZ the 2-cap once again. Now 3 members remain for UYU. They have to make something happen. They have to make it happen quick. Xplosive gets the first kill. Praized bounces around. He's gonna get dropped. The members of UYU touch the hills in time. D begins to be decapped. Is anyone in position to make their way over to F? There's a couple players on their way.
It's too far.
There's not able to get the touch in time. RushieZ will hold on. Big plays coming through from Fran, getting that double kill, securing that last objective. Now RushieZ find themselves 1 round away from sending us to a game number 3.
1 round away, man. I'm excited. This is great. Game 3 would be fantastic between these two teams. And you know what? Xplosive, even though he's playing so well, 24 total assists, man. It's just RushieZ is consistently winning the initials and winning those rotations. And objectively, they are playing very, very well. Now, they've been close to victory before. I go back to the PK matchup where they were up 4-2 and they ended up losing it. But I don't know, they just seem different. They just seem different. And of course, a different play style, right, from UYU in general. But they're not out of the woods just yet. UYU has the opportunity to tie this up, send it to a round 9. It wouldn't surprise me if we go that far. Drop shot is placed. M-Bar is gone for the side of UYU. They're going to place that drop shot to fight for it. And I don't think they pulled out a disable, did they? No, they didn't, right? So they're going to have to disable in round 9 if we get to that point. But IC's M-Bar, if he connects, that's going to have a huge impact on this round.
They're really going to see TJ go for that quick pick. He's going to be dropped, but he still has a weapon in hand. He's once again revives on his last life, though. He ends up falling. The question is the drop shot still able to be picked up? So far, he's on the ground. Players being traded back and forth, revive after revive. Powerz to get the first kill. He's going to look to make it a second on Fran. Fran's going to try to run away and stay alive. He's going to put him right into another member of UYU. The rotation comes through. Icy. That's the first kill with Powerz just being relentless on every side of the map, Taylor. This guy just cannot be stopped.
Contact.
Not at all, man. Not at all. He is making this happen. He knows how important it is to send it to a round 9. If he has to do it all himself, he will. As I look through the respawn economy, though, everybody's sitting okay. Xplosive, though, is going to go ahead and throw one out. RushieZ, we'll see you later. 2 more behind cover. He's going to go ahead and save it. E is going to be broken and should be fully capped. Snub is going to be enough to go ahead and drop down Avexys, and Powerz is going to go ahead and get the cleanup. RushieZ, though, going to try their hand at F, it seems. They're going to be pushing in too strong. Player 7's going to rotate over to give the man advantage over to UYU, making a bit of a mismatch. INZEM's going to go in. Drop shots out. It misses. Xplosive now. Up close. Has to make it happen. But that instant from TJ will take down Fran. Once again, makes it a mismatch. I say that, but look at this. Icy and RushieZ will push in to take down 2, and that gets the break for RushieZ.
Right now, RushieZ will find themselves with a 2 cap once again. You see UYU have that smoke down. They're just going to run right over the next piece of objective. In the meantime, UYU's potentially toying with that E-hill as well. RushieZ creating all kinds of stress right now for UYU. Fran's gonna get the first down, but the teamwork comes in from UYU. Good job by Powerz once again, man, just finding himself on every single side of the map, it feels like. That's gonna give UYU the numbers advantage back, an opportunity to now grab a 2 cap of their own. RushieZ will be there and waiting. Trying to slow down this push from UYU. RushieZ taking a really low health. Finally is dropped. Was it enough initial damage? Gonna push Xplosive back, but a new drop shot will be found in the hands of Kenny.
Should lead out. Xplosive's going to push up. Break on F is already there. Drop shot is gone. Fran will fall. Avexys is going to be up ahead. Kenny wants this. Goes to thread the needle. Can't make it happen. Used to resort down to the Nasher. He will connect. Kenny will fall, but picked up. UYU understands their positioning. B. They need to get it decap. That's going to be their only win condition. And things are getting wild, man. When you see players fighting in mid like this, you know everybody is just going full send.
Absolutely. Looking at this, you see Fran sitting on his last life. Avexys sitting on 1. Is he going to choose to spawn back in? You see RushieZ does win with 1 hill. They have to hold it down. I mean, I think you know how hard these situations are to hold, right? You're going to see the Avexys not spawning back in. They're basically going to try and do a man down. You know the last push is coming. You know exactly how this works, right? INZEM's going to go down. Can they push through it? M-bar in hand. 1 player drops. They have to hold it for 10 more seconds. They can't allow any touches. The first M-bar shot connects. The players are hitting both sides. 1 player goes down. There's the break they needed. 2 players are going to be taken off the map, and Taylor, it's just a matter of time.
Whew, round 9, here we go. And like you said, 2 players taken off the map, and that's in regards to RushieZ. So now they're going into round 9, not as comfortable as they want to be in the respawn category. That's Fran and Avexys, 2 players you don't want to be so low in respawns. And more importantly, you also have UYU who's going to be able to ban out, or I say ban, but disable the M-bar for RushieZ. Because of course, RushieZ ended up banning, or excuse me, disabling the M-bar for UYU last round. So now Icy's not going to have that extra firepower with the M-bar. Meanwhile, UYU is going to have it. Now, granted, the big focal point is going to be the drop shot, but that M-bar is going to be hugely beneficial, especially when you know the enemy team has players such as Fran and Avexys who are sitting at 1 out of 4 respawns. RushieZ's going to have to play this very carefully, and Vascar is a tough map to avoid engagements in.
It's going to make it very, very tough in this round number 9. Powerz off spawn just rips a headshot on one of the players that had 1 spawn. That is just absolutely massive way to start this round off for UYU. It's going to put the IGL on 0 lives. I mean, UYU, they basically know that their sort of win condition at this point just becomes play trades. That's really all you need to do, right? At the end of the day, they have just so many more respawns, right? I'm seeing 3-2, 3-3-4 versus 2-0, 2-0-2, right? And so they play trades back and forth. You just got to rotate around, move their numbers around, get a kill here, get a kill there. That should be enough.
Drop shot out. RushieZ gone down to 1 out of 4. That pick at the beginning, though. Let's talk a bit more about that. I mean, that pick at the beginning was massive. Why? Because it was on FraNChiS. One of 2 people joining the likes of Avexys, who was at 1 out of 4. Literally seconds into the round, Fran gets his head blown off, therefore bringing him down to his last life. Shortly after that, Avexys is dropped off, bringing him to his last life. There was no suspense in those 2 players' opportunity to stay alive. We knew exactly what was happening, and Fran is now gone off the map. RushieZ's last life, Avexys' last life, and it's already a 5v4. And I hate to break it to you guys, UYU not even close to having people on their last life.
Yeah, I still can't believe that early headshot, man. That was freaking nuts. Like, that, I mean, what a way to start the round off. And like I said, yeah, you see now with Fran being permanently off the map, that's got to be it right there. Powerz isn't able to connect on that one. But again, sort of like last round, this is just a matter of time. You're going to see Rush and Avexys sitting on their last life, potentially getting some kills here and there. But at some point or another, right, UYU is going to string together the few kills they need. Of course, they are already up about 50 points and counting. And like I said, it's one of those scenarios, right, in Gears 5 Escalation where that respawn economy just becomes so important, right? You don't want to face a situation like this where you're on the last round and your opponent has a significant amount of more resources.
It's going to be hard. That body shot from Powerz, it's not a kill, but I mean, it at least scares off Avexys. Look, he's on his last life. Definitely don't want to be losing health. Bring yourself to all 4s. Put your teammates in a position where they have to go and rescue you. UYU maintains the 2-to-1 hill advantage. Icy picks up that fresh drop shot. So Icy getting the drop shot is nice. Still, though, how much of an impact is it going to make? Well, we'll find out. At this point in time, RushieZ's only win condition, basically, realistically anyways, is going to get a 5-man wipe or be on all 3 hills. And at this point, they're going to have to do it with only 3 members as RushieZ is finished off.
See, just UYU sitting there waiting. The clock is about to strike 250 points, and as always, man, a fantastic series between these 2 teams. But in the end, it is UYU winning another Emergence stage, right? They won it last week. Here they are once again with another victory. They take Vascar 5-4, and they take this series 2-0. As always, man, this team, as we get closer and closer to that major, just keeps looking stronger and stronger.
Absolutely. Look, from a 2-0 last night in favor of RushieZ to a 2-0 tonight in favor of UYU. That is now their, 5th week in a row? No, excuse me, 4th week in a row. They're able to secure the victory in first place. And that brings them up to a whopping 5 overall championships for Split 1 when it comes to E-Days Season 3. Good on them, man. 5 championships. The only team close to them is VQ and PK